The Galactic Council chamber was silent as Captain Alexis Callahan stepped up to the podium. The vast room, filled with representatives from hundreds of species, felt cold and impersonal. Above her, the holographic map of the galaxy pulsed with soft, neon lights, each planet marked with its own classification. Earth, sitting at the center, glowing ominously with dual markers, Class 12 Death World and Nursery Planet. Alexis straightened her posture, her gaze scanning the assembly of alien faces. Some eyes gleamed with curiosity, others with suspicion. But all of them, she knew, carried one question: why? Why was Earth, the cradle of humanity, both a deadly, hostile world and a place of growth, a nursery for future generations? The council members shifted uncomfortably as Alexis prepared to speak. The debate over Earth's future had lasted for months, but today would be different. Today, Alexis was determined to end the uncertainty. "Honorable council members," she began, her voice steady but fierce. "Earth's classification has been the subject of intense debate for centuries. Some of you see it as a death world, a planet that breeds violent, unpredictable lifeforms capable of overwhelming even the most prepared species. Others view it as a nursery planet, a fertile breeding ground where young races can grow and learn to adapt. But the truth, as always, lies somewhere in between." The room murmured, some nodding, others frowning. Alexis paused, allowing her words to settle. "I'm here today to defend Earth," she continued. "I stand before you not only as a representative of humanity, but as someone who has fought beside Earth's people in the trenches of galactic diplomacy. We are not the savage, uncontrollable species you've heard about in whispered corners of your homeworlds. We are survivors. We adapt. And we have the strength to build a future, not just for ourselves, but for the galaxy." Her words hung in the air like a weight. Alexis could feel the tension building, the battle lines already drawn in the room. On one side, the advocates for Earth's survival, who saw the planet's potential for growth. On the other, the voices who feared that the threat of Earth's wild nature would eventually destroy everything it touched. Among them was Zareth Kur, the representative of the VortiH, a faction known for their ruthlessness and unflinching belief in galactic order. His sharp, alien features were impassive, his eyes cold and calculating. He had been watching her since she had begun speaking, and she could feel the storm building in him. He had been waiting for this moment. "I'm afraid, Captain Callahan," Zareth's voice echoed across the room, "that your optimism is misplaced." His tone was low, but it carried the weight of his authority. "Earth's so-called survival is nothing but an accident of nature. What you call resilience is simply the ability to endure. The true question here is, should the galaxy allow such a planet, with such unpredictable and dangerous lifeforms, to continue to exist?" The room fell silent again, all eyes turning to Alexis. She didn't flinch. "You're wrong, Zareth," she said firmly. "The fact that we survive, against the odds, is what makes us strong. We've conquered our own planet's dangers, and in doing so, we've learned how to survive against the galaxy's challenges. Earth is not a threat to the galaxy, it's a living, breathing testament to the power of resilience. That's why it is a nursery planet." "Nursery planet?" Zareth scoffed, his voice rising slightly, his long, spindly fingers tapping on the table in front of him. "You believe that Earth is a sanctuary for new life, that it is somehow a model for other species to emulate? Tell me, Captain, how can a death world also be a sanctuary? Your people's resilience, your ability to survive in the chaos of your own creation, does not speak to your ability to coexist with others. It only proves that you are dangerous, unpredictable, and violent." Alexis' pulse quickened, but her expression remained calm. The words were familiar, and she'd heard them more times than she cared to admit. The galaxy saw Earth as a paradox. To some, it was a beacon of potential, to others, a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. "If survival is a crime," she shot back, "then every species in this room is guilty of the same. My people didn't choose to be born on a death world. We didn't choose to face the harshest conditions in the galaxy. But we did choose to survive. And that, Zareth, is what makes us worth fighting for." A low murmur ran through the room, But Zareth was undeterred. "Your survival is not the issue here," Zareth said, his voice a quiet hiss. "The issue is that Earth's violent nature, its unpredictability, is a danger to the stability of the entire galaxy. The Vortiates do not tolerate such risk. Your planet is a nuclear time bomb, and I, for one, would prefer to defuse it before it detonates." There it was. The true threat. Alexis knew Zareth's kind had no love for Earth. He wanted it gone, erased from the map, its potential stifled, its dangerous inhabitants isolated. But Alexis had a different vision. A vision where Earth's strength was recognized. A place where humanity, despite the odds, could thrive, not just for themselves, but for the entire galaxy. "We don't need your protection, Zareth," Alexis replied, her voice quiet but unwavering. "We need understanding. Earth will not be erased. We will prove that we are not just survivors, we are creators. Builders. The galaxy will see Earth for what it truly is, and they will see the strength of humanity. I will make sure of it." A long silence stretched between them. Zareth's gaze lingered on her, the tension palpable. Alexis could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on her, the eyes of the galaxy upon her. One wrong move, one slip, and everything could fall apart. But as she stood there, unshaken, she knew one thing: Earth's future was worth fighting for. "Today," she said finally, breaking the silence, "I will fight for Earth's future. And I will ensure that this council sees us for who we truly are." The council room erupted into a mixture of murmurs, whispers, and heated discussions. But Alexis didn't care. She had made her stand. And now, the real battle would begin. In the distance, the holographic map flickered. Earth, her planet, sat there in the vastness of space, both a death world and a nursery planet. And somehow, Alexis knew that the truth would be revealed. One way or another. The council chamber was still buzzing with murmurs when Captain Alexis Callahan left the podium. She could feel the weight of the room pressing down on her, an invisible force that demanded both answers and action. Her heart raced, not from fear, but from the urgency of the task ahead. She had made her stance clear, but it wasn't enough. The debate over Earth's future was far from over. As she moved through the corridors of the Galactic Council building, Alexis was already planning her next move. She knew that Zareth Kur, the Vortiate representative, would not let the matter drop so easily. His presence in the chamber, his sharp words, and the cold glint in his eyes were a warning. Zareth didn't just want Earth neutralized, he wanted it eliminated, and he would use every tactic at his disposal to make that happen. Her communicator buzzed. It was her assistant, Jolin, a quick-witted alien from the Zyrna species who had been by her side for years. "Captain, I've found something you need to see." Jolin's voice crackled through the calm. "I've managed to access some confidential Vortiate transmission logs. You were right, Zareth is planning something more insidious." Alexis' pulse quickened. "What do you mean?" "There's a hidden agenda, Captain. Zareth is using his influence to push for the quarantine of Earth, but the real goal is more ambitious. He's orchestrating a covert operation that could manipulate the entire galaxy into supporting the destruction of your planet." Alexis stopped in her tracks, her mind racing. "Tell me everything." Jolin hesitated. "I don't have all the details yet, but there's enough evidence to suggest that Zareth's faction has been fabricating intelligence reports. He's been planting evidence of Earth's supposed recklessness, faked attacks on alien colonies, staged incidents of human aggression. It's all designed to make the galaxy believe that Earth is a threat that must be neutralized before it causes irreparable damage." Alexis clenched her fists. "How long has this been going on?" "Since the last council session," Jolin replied. "Maybe longer. I'm tracing the data now, but it's heavily encrypted." Alexis took a deep breath. She knew that time was against them. If Zareth was successful, Earth would be forced into isolation, its future stolen by political manipulation. She needed proof, hard evidence to expose Zareth for what he truly was. "Keep digging, Jolin. I need that evidence as soon as possible. I'll meet you in the communications room in 1 hour." As she made her way to the room, Alexis thought back to the council meeting. The Vortiage had always been a problem for Earth. They had their own vision of the galaxy, one where only the strongest species survived, and everyone else was relegated to the fringes. To them, humanity's strength was a liability. To Alexis, it was the key to the galaxy's future. She entered the communications room to find Jolan already there, furiously working at a terminal. His 6 eyes darted back and forth across the screen as he decrypted the latest transmission. "There's a lot more here than I thought," Jolan muttered, his fingers flying over the keyboard. "Zareth isn't just fabricating reports, he's planting spies within the Council itself, pushing for more drastic measures against Earth." Alexis frowned. "Spies?" "Not spies exactly," Jolan corrected. "More like sympathizers. Zareth has been grooming individuals within the Council for years. He's created a network of supporters who share his view that Earth is too dangerous to be allowed to grow. The reports suggest he's been feeding them information, both false and misleading, that paints Earth as a destabilizing force. So, he's using the Council as a pawn in his game," Alexis said, her voice low but laced with fury. "If Earth is to be quarantined, then it's just the beginning. He'll destroy our standing in the galaxy, wipe us from the map." "Not just that," Jolan interrupted. "Zareth's ultimate goal is far darker. He wants to use Earth's crisis as a springboard for a full-scale military campaign. He's planning to provoke a war, one where the Vortiage lead the charge under the guise of restoring order." Alexis' stomach churned. "A war with Earth at its heart." Jolan nodded grimly. "That's why he's been manipulating the classification. If the Council believes that Earth is a death world, then it's only a matter of time before a preemptive strike is authorized. All he needs is the right crisis, the right spark to ignite the flames of war." Her fingers clenched into fists. This wasn't just politics anymore. This was a deliberate attempt to erase humanity from the galactic stage. "We need to stop him," Alexis said, her voice hardening. "I'll take this to the Council. We'll expose his plot before it can escalate any further." Jolan hesitated. "Are you sure? Zareth is powerful. He's got allies in high places. He won't go down without a fight." "I know," Alexis replied, her mind already racing with the implications. "But I've spent my life fighting for Earth. I won't let it be destroyed by someone like him." Just then, the terminal beeped. Jolan's fingers flew over the keys as the data began to pour in. "There it is," he said, his voice tinged with satisfaction. "Hard evidence. Zareth's transmissions, his network of sympathizers, the fabricated intelligence reports. It's all here." Alexis leaned forward, scanning the screen. There it was, proof of Zareth's manipulation, an intricate web of lies designed to drag the galaxy into war. Her heart raced. This was the weapon she needed. "This is it," she said, her voice cold with resolve. "I'm going to the Council with this. We'll expose Zareth for who he really is." As she left the communications room, Alexis felt a sense of purpose settle over her. The stakes had just escalated. The battle was no longer just about Earth's survival. It was about ensuring that no one, no matter how powerful, could rewrite the future of her people. The Council would hear the truth. And she would make sure they listened. Dialogue snippets. "Jolan. Zareth isn't just fabricating reports, he's planting spies within the Council itself, pushing for more drastic measures against Earth." Alexis. "He's using the Council as a pawn in his game. If Earth is to be quarantined, then it's just the beginning." Jolan. "He's planning to provoke a war, one where the Vortiage lead the charge under the guise of restoring order." Alexis. "A war with Earth at its heart. We need to stop him before he ignites it." Themes and development. The theme of manipulation is explored as Zareth orchestrates his plan to frame Earth and push it into galactic conflict. The pacing picks up with the revelation of Zareth's network of allies and his true intentions. Alexis' resolve and leadership are emphasized as she sets out to expose the conspiracy. Her determination to protect Earth drives the plot forward, even as the forces against her grow more formidable. The Galactic Council chamber was filled with tension as the final vote approached. Alexis Callahan stood at the front, her heart beating steadily in her chest, but the weight of the situation pressed down on her shoulders. The council members, each representing a different species, were gathered in a semicircle, their attention fixed on her. They had already heard the arguments for Earth's future, but the decision had not been made. And today, that decision would change everything. Zareth Kur sat across the room, his piercing gaze locked on Alexis. He had been silent throughout most of the proceedings, his eyes narrowing as he watched her every move. His plan was clear now. He had tried to manipulate the council into viewing Earth as a threat, but Alexis had thwarted him at every turn. She had exposed his lies, the fabricated reports, and the web of influence he had built. The balance of power had shifted. Alexis took a deep breath. This wasn't just about Earth's survival anymore. It was about proving that humanity wasn't just a species to be feared, it was a force to be reckoned with. The past few weeks had been a whirlwind of debates, leaks, and clandestine operations. But now, she had the evidence. "I'm here," Alexis began, her voice steady but full of resolve, "to ensure that Earth's future is decided by truth, not by fear. For too long, certain factions have manipulated our existence, painted us as reckless, unpredictable. We are none of these things." Zaretha's cold gaze never left her, but she didn't flinch. The room was silent, waiting for her to continue. "Humanity has shown time and again that we can adapt to any challenge," Alexis said. "We've faced our own extinction, weathered storms that would have annihilated lesser species. And yet we stand. Our resilience is not a flaw. It is our strength. And that strength, despite all the attempts to tear it down, is what will shape our future." She glanced at the screen behind her. It displayed a series of data logs, Zaretha's manipulation of the Council's intelligence network laid bare for everyone to see. The fabricated attacks, the planted lies about Earth's supposed recklessness, all of it was exposed. "I've presented the facts," she continued. "The evidence that Zareth Kur has used his position to push an agenda of destruction, not protection. His attempts to provoke a war have been uncovered. He sought to turn the galaxy against Earth, to isolate us, to eliminate us as a threat to his own power." The council members shifted uncomfortably. Whispers filled the air, but none dared speak out. Zaretha's face remained impassive, but his eyes were seething. He knew the tide had turned, but he wasn't finished yet. "I ask you all," Alexis said, her voice rising with determination, "to look beyond the lies, beyond the fear. What we're facing here is not just a battle for Earth's future. It's a battle for the future of the galaxy. A galaxy that cannot afford to fracture under the weight of fear and manipulation." Zaretha's voice cut through the room like a knife. "You are naive, Captain Callahan. Your people, your death world, have no place in the future of this galaxy. If you want to survive, you will have to learn your place. Earth is a weapon, a ticking time bomb. You cannot control it. You don't understand Earth." Alexis shot back, her tone sharp. "You never have. Earth is not just a death world. It is a world of creation, of innovation, of connection. We are not defined by the dangers we face, we are defined by how we overcome them. We are more than a weapon. We are the future of the galaxy." Zareth rose from his seat, his gaze cold as steel. "Then let us see if your future can survive the consequences of your hubris, Captain." The tension in the room escalated. It felt like the very air was charged with energy. Alexis stood her ground, staring directly into Zaretha's eyes. There would be no turning back now. This was it. The council leader, a towering figure of alien origin with multiple eyes and an expressionless face, raised a hand. The room fell into a sudden, stunned silence. "The vote will begin," the leader announced in a deep, resonant voice. "Each representative will cast their vote on Earth's future, quarantine and isolation, or recognition as a nursery planet with full galactic rights." Alexis' heart raced as she watched the council members one by one cast their votes. She could feel the weight of their eyes on her, their expectations, their fear. Would they let Zaratha's manipulation stand? Or would they side with the truth? The votes were tallied quickly. The atmosphere in the chamber was thick with anticipation. When the final tally was revealed, a low murmur spread through the room. The vote was tied. One vote stood between Earth's survival and its destruction. Alexis held her breath, watching as the council leader's eyes scanned the screen. Then, with a solemn nod, the leader turned to face the chamber. By a majority vote, the council leader intoned, Earth will be recognized as a nursery planet, with full rights to self-governance and protection from external threats. The proposal for quarantine is rejected. A wave of shock rippled through the room. Zaratha's face contorted with fury. He had lost. But before he could speak, the council leader's voice rang out again. And as for the actions of Zarath-Kur, the leader continued, an investigation will be launched into his conduct. The evidence presented here today will not go unnoticed. Zarath opened his mouth to protest, but no words came. His defeat was complete. Alexis let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. The weight of the room lifted, replaced with the sense of a battle well fought. Earth had won. Humanity had won. Against the odds, against the manipulation, against the fear, it had proven its strength. Zarath glared at Alexis one last time, his face dark with anger and contempt. This is not over, he muttered before turning and storming out of the chamber. Alexis didn't let her gaze follow him. She didn't need to. The future had already been decided. She stepped forward, her voice resolute. Today, the galaxy saw Earth for what it truly is, a force of nature, a beacon of resilience and hope. We are not a death world. We are a world of life, of potential, and we will shape the future of the galaxy together. The room erupted into applause. It wasn't just the victory of Earth. It was a victory for truth, for unity, for hope. As Alexis Callahan stood there, in the heart of the Galactic Council chamber, she knew that the future of humanity was no longer uncertain. Earth had earned its place in the galaxy. And the galaxy had just begun to understand what humanity could truly achieve. Dialogue snippets. Alexis. I've presented the facts. The evidence that Zarath-Kur has used his position to push an agenda of destruction, not protection. Zarath. You are naive, Captain Callahan. Your people, your death world, have no place in the future of this galaxy. Alexis. You don't understand Earth. You never have. Earth is not just a death world. It is a world of creation, of innovation, of connection. Council Leader. By a majority vote, Earth will be recognized as a nursery planet, with full rights to self-governance and protection from external threats. Themes and development. Power and corruption. Zaratha's downfall highlights the dangers of manipulation, power, and fear-mongering, and how truth and unity can dismantle even the most insidious plans. Victory for humanity. The chapter concludes with Earth's recognition, a monumental victory for humanity, establishing the planet as a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy.